Hey guys, this is Sambi from underdogchance.com, and in today's video I will show you my NHL betting model. So you will look inside my spreadsheet. I will also show you today's picks based on this NHL betting model. I will show you the whole process of getting qualified bets or picks if you like, and I will show you some ideas how I build it. I also added a couple of new features, so if you're our masterclass member, it is already in our Discord group, and in next days I will also create a final video with instructions how to update it, how to use it, because we know that we have a new team, Utah Hockey Club. Before yesterday, I didn't even know how the site which provides statistics, how will they name this team, and I will also show you a couple of options that users can use. Okay, for me, NHL is not most practical sport to bet. I will explain why. For example, yesterday I posted first qualified bet based on this NHL betting model. It was Florida against Boston. But before I got final qualified bets, I had to check the final goalies. And because I am in Europe, this is not practical for me because sometimes the information will come at midnight or in 1 in the morning, and this is something I cannot do. But for people who live in Canada, in USA, who follow NHL closely, this can be very useful tool to bet, because what are sports betting models? Sports betting models are the tools to help you analyze games, to get you probabilities, because the goal is that you get your winning percentages, your projected odds, and then you compare with bookmakers odds, right? And the discrepancy is that value. Okay, so anyone who bets on sports should have these numbers. Okay, so at least this is something every sports bettor should get before you bet. No matter if you bet ice hockey, baseball, NFL, basketball, or athletics, you should get somehow winning percentages, because winning percentages are directly transformed into the odds, and those are the prices that you are willing to pay. And if market offers better price, then this is potentially good bet or the value. Okay, but I want to show you a couple of features that I added. So the idea was that I add some settings for users so they can select how much weight they will give to the players lineups, to the teams, because the betting model consists of team statistics, goalie statistics, and each individual player statistics, which are combined in the lineups. Okay, and so this was the first step. Okay, so first I wanted to give team offense weight, which means that you can select select how much weight you will give to all strengths, because in NHL teams will play 5-on-5 ice hockey, teams will play 4-on-5 power play, 5-on-3. It is also not the same if team is leading by 4 goals, for example, because they will not play as offensively as they would if they would be, for example, trailing. This is what we call score effects, and this is something you should take into account. And this is what we have here. Most important statistics is 5-on-5 ice hockey. This is where you can see the real strengths of the team. And I selected, for example, 65% of weight to these statistics. This is what we call score effects. But each user who will use this betting model can select and give other options. For example, you want to give more weight, for example, to all situations, and you will of course then minimize this, and it should be 1. So it is working. I don't know why it's slow right now. I can refresh it. It's working. Okay, so it must be always 1, because 70%, 25%, and this can be, I don't know, 5%. Okay, and then you get 100. So the betting model will take statistics in this case from all situations, 70% of all situations, 5-on-5, 25%, and power play 0.05. Okay, so I will go back to my initial settings. The same with defense. You can give different strengths to all strengths, 5-on-5, and power play. Then we also have team's momentum. in the past, I received from our members the questions: how can we add a little bit more weight to last 10 games, last 20 games? And this is where you can also select. So you can say, okay, I will put much more weight to last 10 games, and then you will select a bigger number. Just make sure that here is one. Here you will exclude, for example, last 2 season stats, last 3 season stats, and you will just use this season stats, right? This is just the idea, right? Anyone can change this. So those are the settings that you can you as a user can change based on your ideas without changing the structure or without changing the core formulas of the betting model. Okay, the same is with player stats: 1 season, 2 seasons, and 3 seasons. So if you want to have a little bit bigger sample size with the players, you will say, okay, 60% or 1. You can also say 1. Okay, here we have the similar idea. So we have offensive final statistics, defensive, and then expected goals, the totals, and this then go into another tab which will calculate probabilities. But why is this important? Because, as I said, we have team statistics. We have also all the lineups, which every single player, where I project how many minutes he will play, and then how many expected goals each player will contribute to the team. And this is all together in one thing. And then you can say, okay, I will just look at the lineups. This is maybe good at the start of the season if you want to use this season statistics or last season statistics only from players, okay, because there could be trades. But you can also use middle approach. So you will say, I don't know, I will use 50% of statistics from teams, how the team play, because also the strategy is important, right? And I will also use 50% of strength of statistics from individual players, quality, and then I will get final factor. The same is with the defense, but in the defense, I didn't take lineup stats for defense, but I took goalie stats, okay? So I have created goalie statistics here. I took expected goals, saves percentage, and then I have normalized the statistics here, and I rank. I made my own rankings, and this is then going here into the settings. So those who will use this betting model, they can change all these things. And then they can get projections. Okay, so anyone who will use this betting model, I would also love to see their feedbacks, what weights and these numbers are working the best. Okay, then we go to projections. Okay, so what are the challenges with NHL betting? At least for me, okay, I'm living in Europe. The biggest challenge are the lineups and the goalies, because goalie will affect on the game. Okay, so I might go with settings. Okay, in the morning in Europe, I don't know who will actually start, and I will say, okay, I will not go with the goalies. I will just go with team statistics, which of course could be a problem, right? For example, yesterday I made projections. I can show you. I made projections with Florida and Seattle, right? Not Florida. Who were playing? St. Louis. Okay, St. Louis and Seattle. Okay, and they were playing with Binnington. Okay, and Seattle, we didn't know 1 hour before the game who will start for Seattle. So the option was Joy Decourt and Philip Grubauer. Okay, at the end it was Grubauer. Okay, and I will just paste this here. Okay, Grubauer, the odds were completely fair to the market. I think the market was around 1.64 or something like that. Okay. On the other side, if Seattle would start with Joy Decourt, okay, no, I need to change this because I already changed it. So I excluded goalie effect. Okay, with Joy Decourt, projected numbers were this. Okay, and with Grubauer was this, right? So the early odds on Seattle Kraken was 1.77. Okay, so 1.77. In this case, if the court would start, that would be qualified bet on Seattle Kraken. Later, the information came 1 hour before the game start that Grubauer is starting, and it was not qualified bet, which was completely correct. Okay, in fact, there was maybe small value with St. Louis. Okay, this is how the goalies can affect the game, at least based on this betting model that I have created. Okay, uh, and for me, it is not practical, and this is why NHL could be more challenging for me and all people who live in Europe, because it is not practical to wait until 1 in the morning to check the latest lineups and the goalies, right? Another situation, and this is another thing that I added to the betting model, is you can select home field advantage or no. Okay, because the first game they played in Czech Republic, so it was international series or global series, as they say, I think, and it was Buffalo against New Jersey Devils. Okay, so I don't know who was in the net, but we can make it average. Okay, so if you don't find the goal, you can put just league average, which is factor 1. So I made the rankings for the goalies in a way where 1 is average, everything below 1 is better than average, and everything above 1 number is worse than average. Okay, but what happened? Okay, so they played on a neutral field. Okay, betting model takes into account home field advantage, which is completely normal, right? So if home field advantage, if we take home field advantage, those would be the odds on Buffalo Sabres and New Jersey Devils. So my betting model will give 60.74% of chance to New Jersey Devils. Okay, but because they played in Czech Republic, you simply select no, and of course we will get smaller probability on New Jersey Devils. Okay, as you see, the probability changes, and this is also great. Another thing, if you will use this betting model, or how to use this betting model, is using American or decimal odds. Okay, I prefer decimal odds. I think American odds are completely useless, because especially if you build betting models, decimal odds are much simpler, because you simply divide 1 by the decimal odds, and most bettors in the world, they already struggle with basic things like math, probabilities, spreadsheets, and when they add American odds, this is even more complex. But this is a very good trick from bookmakers, so they make it more complex, and most bettors don't take that 15 minutes to understand decimal odds, which I think should be the basic. But anyway, I also understand that there are some good bettors who already understand sports betting and everything else, and they completely use American odds, which is completely fine. So I also added this option here. And for example, I added decimal odds here. So the betting model will calculate probabilities here. And then, of course, to make a bet, you need discrepancy, and you simply put decimal odds here. But if you select American odds, then you will say, okay, this is like, I don't know, plus 140 and minus 156, for example. Okay. And in this case, you simply use American odds, and the betting model will show you if this is qualified bet or not. Okay, and here you also put the totals. Okay, the totals is calculated the difference, so you simply need to check. So if your projected total is 6.51 and bookmakers total is 6, then this is lean to the over. Okay, but I never focused on totals that much. Maybe if there is 75%, 0.75 difference, or 1 difference, then this could be potentially good bet. So users who will use, they can make feedback later if they will also use total difference. But here I use adjusted Kelly criterion formula, which calculates the difference between your projected odds and bookmakers odds. And here you can also select how selective you will be. If you want to be more selective, you will select the bigger number. Okay, so for example, if we take this, let's say that we take Buffalo Sabres, and the odds are, let's say, so my projected are plus 155, and then, for example, bookmakers will say 165, and this is not good enough because it is too close. Okay, and then you say, okay, I want to be less selective. Okay, and I will go with 0.015, and this will just highlight you that difference. Okay, you can also be more selective. Okay, let's say 1.4, and here there must be much bigger odds. Okay, I just make something like that. Okay, this would be 1.5 unit. Okay, this is your option how much you use. Okay, for baseball I use 1.25. For NHL I will test this season, I will go with one adjusted Kelly criterion one. Those who have my masterclass, they know what I'm talking about. This is basically a difference between your projected odds and bookmakers odds. Adjusted Kelly criterion will tell you if there is more value, you should bet a little bit more, which makes sense. Okay, and here you can set your own rules. This will not affect the betting model. Also, this will not affect the betting model. This will just highlight the differences. And here you can set your own rule. For example, if the goalie doesn't have enough statistics, for example, a rookie goalie, or I have said that the goalie must play 1,800 minutes to be qualified for this betting model. You can also select this little bit less. Then maybe you can stay away. This is just idea. Sometimes also the players, some new players will come. They don't have enough statistics, and then you will put league average player number. And if there is more than 5 league average players, maybe you can stay away from this game too. My idea is also to play puck line with big underdogs and adjusted Kelly. When there is one, this is 1 unit. Adjusted Kelly 1.5 would be 1.5 unit, and everything above 2 is 2, or 2 is 2 units. Okay, those are just ideas that you can also add to your betting model. Okay, so now we will go to today's projections and I will show you the process. Okay, so first you need to check the lineups, because the lineups will change on a daily basis, but usually the lineups are the same. Maybe if you just follow an NHL, then you just check the injuries of most important players and then you change this, because if, for example, Connor McDavid is playing or if he's not playing, this will affect on the game, especially if you will, for example, have here the number 1 and here 0, where you will give a whole weight to the lineup stats. Okay, this might give you much more correct numbers, but you will have a little bit more work because you need to check the daily lineups. Okay, another thing is also, most people, of course we all want to make projections and analysis as quickly as possible, but if you want to make more correct numbers, if you want to go a little bit deeper, then it is of course a little bit more work. Okay, but anyway, it is not that much work. You will have to update a little bit more links on a daily basis, which will take probably 5 minutes more. But you can also say, okay, I will not bother with player lineup, so I will just type here 0, and you will go only with team statistics, and then you don't need to check the players lineups. Okay, it's up to you how much weight you give. And the same with this, so you can just type 0 here, and then you don't need to update that statistics. Okay, so let's go to these projections. So the first game we have here, so another thing, okay, the goalies are the biggest problem, not the biggest problem, but one of the biggest challenges with NHL. Okay, as I said, if you live in Europe, of course it is much harder to follow this, especially if you have a lifestyle, healthy lifestyle, because I always say build sports betting around your life, not your life around sports betting. Okay, and usually watching games, reading news, this is all completely useless. But if you follow NHL in USA, in Canada, this is much more practical, because the games will start much earlier than we. Okay, for example, today, so what we have here, okay, we have Toronto against Montreal. This is one side. We have different sides that will provide different information. So we have Joseph Woll against Montebaugh. He's likely to play. If we check another side, the same information. Here we have Joseph Woll, again, the same player. And here we have Joseph Woll against Montebaugh. Again, this is probable. So those are all information about probable starting goalies, and we can say, okay, so Toronto against Montreal, so they will start with Joseph Woll, and they will start with Montebaugh, and the odds are, so I will go back to decimal. I don't like American odds. So it is 1.59, 2.5, no, 2.6, and the total is 6.5. Okay, so Based on my projections, this is not qualified bet. I have Montreal at 2.27, 2.6. So let's play with the betting model a little bit, okay? I already checked all the lineups, and I will say, okay, I will give lineups full strength, okay? So full weight. And this will not change much, okay? I will go back. Okay, so I will let's go with the goalie stats because we have Joseph Vol who is not qualified yet for this betting model. So I can also play with this little bit. So I will give much more importance to the goalies. There would be small value with Montreal, but I would go with balanced approach where we take team's defense and 50% importance to the goal. Okay, so there is no value in this game. I would simply copy paste it here. You can check the total is basically the same. Then the next game, Rangers against Pittsburgh. So we have Shesterkin against Tristan Jerry against Rangers, Pittsburgh. So the bookmakers odds are 1.74 to 23. 1.74 to 23, and the total is at 6. I checked the lineups, okay, so we can also play with this a little bit. Okay, and I will give 0 because for the team statistics, we use last season statistics as well. If we go with the lineups, there is a value with Pittsburgh no matter what. So I will go back to balanced approach. Okay, and there is a value with Pittsburgh. So I would go with Tristan Jerry and so this is Pittsburgh 2.23. 1.5 units. Okay, so this is first qualified bet. As I said yesterday, I posted this on Twitter because it was not possible to post this play on YouTube. Okay, because if you wait for latest information, then I cannot. I will not create videos at the midnight or or at 10 at night. Okay, but even if we check this information, it is unconfirmed. Okay, it is unconfirmed. Okay, so I should of course probably wait for the latest information, and then you need to be very quick. Okay, so I don't know who is the second option for both, but I believe Shesterkin will start, and also even if we put league average goalies, there is some value with Pittsburgh. What if we add, I don't know, let's say maybe like this, and who is, I don't know, Quick is second goal, right? So there is a value with if Quick would play for Rangers, there would be even more value with Pittsburgh. Okay, but we will go with the latest information we have. Okay, the next game, Colorado against Vegas Golden Knights. Okay, so I will just Colorado, Vegas Golden Knights. Just check the settings. So Georgiev and Hill, right? So let's check other websites. They have Georgiev, Aiden Hill. They have Georgiev, Aiden Hill. Georgiev, Aiden Hill, because sometimes these informations are not the same. Okay, so it looks like it is the same. I will check. The 1.921, and the total is 6.5. Okay, there is not enough value. The odds and projected odds and bookmakers odds are too close. Okay, the next game, Calgary Flames against Canucks, Vladar and Silovs. Silos, as you see, we don't have enough information for Canucks, but we can check other Silovs. Lankinen. Okay, so as you see, another side has Lankinen, and they have Wolf. Okay, so I will make both projections in in a perfect scenario, so this is Wolf Silos, I don't know who will play, okay? And let's check how this will affect on the projections, okay? So the first game, so we need to add the bookmaker. So its calorie is 2.80, 1.49, and the total is set at 6. Okay, so there is no value with this. Okay, so I will just paste it here. What if Vancouver start with Lankinen? Okay, the same story. What if they start with Wolf? His average. Okay, so as you see, there is no value in any way. So I would skip this game, no matter who starts. Okay, the next game, Winnipeg against Edmonton. This is probably one of the best games tonight. Winnipeg, Edmonton. Let's check the odds. 245, 1.61, and 6. Okay, as you see, my projected odds are basically the same, 1.61. On Edmonton, bookmakers are the same. Okay, so we can also check if they will start with some other goalies. They have Hellebuck, Skinner. I think they will start Hellebuck, Skinner. The same story, Hellebuck, Skinner. Okay, so I will just Winnipeg, Edmonton is there. Okay, then we have that's it, right? 5 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so those are all projections for today, and the only qualified bet is Pittsburgh. Okay, this is how this betting model works. It will analyze these projections with different options in settings. Each user can decide how much weight he will give. For example, if you are unsure who will start in the net, maybe you can go with most probable goalie, or I don't know. It's up to you. Okay. But this is definitely one of the biggest challenges because we don't have listed goalies like we have in baseball. Okay, and once bookmakers have this information, they can move the line immediately. Okay, and this can affect this, not can, but it will affect the line. Okay, so those who are NHL bettors, those who are passionate about NHL, who follow NHL, they can use the right information and put here and also in the lineups, and I think they can get good projections. I will try to share this information or projections or picks. I will see how much time will I have, but maybe one idea is to stay away from unconfirmed or the games where you're not completely sure. Okay, and of course, if you're a masterclass member, this NHL betting model is already in our Discord group. Anyone can use it because I use all the concepts that are already in the betting masterclass. So you should know how to use everything, but I will give instructions in next video, in next days, how to update, because I'm waiting that we have all the teams. Okay, so I can see how to organize the stats. As I said, Utah ice hockey is called Utah HS or HC, something like that. Okay, so all the names must be aligned, and I need a little bit more days, and then I will complete it, and this will be available to download. But it is already in our Discord group. Okay. Anyway, Pittsburgh Penguins is the only qualified bet for today. So whatever decide to take, always remember, never blindly follow anyone, including me. My idea is to show you how you can start betting with numbers, because you cannot follow anyone. I already talked about the location, so we are not the same. We don't have the same money management. We don't save the same location, same bookmaker, same IQ, EQ, everything. So everyone must find his own way of betting, and even own his own markets. Okay, and NHL is one market. Maybe it is great for someone who is living in Canada. It is maybe not great for someone who is living in I don't know, China, right? So but the concepts are always the same. You need to bet on value. And once you understand the concept of value, once you understand how you can use numbers in spreadsheets, which is still the most simple tool to use for an average person like me, and I believe most bettors, this can be then a game changer. Okay, so that's it for me. The video was a little bit longer, but so if you watch the video until now, thank you for your attention. And if even if you take Pittsburgh, I wish you good luck. Thank you.